She loves all. She loves all the books.
All of them.
Yeah.
Both sets.
Yeah. The second set we haven't read all. Yeah, but she loves it all.
Nice. What does she say when she reads it?
So she relates to the characters, and she actually at times when we are having a conversation, she brings up, you know, those things in the conversation, and yeah, the characters, and it's really nice.
Brilliant.
It actually, the thought process, it makes a difference how they think and perceive things, and
Yep. And now you're going to have to catch up.
yeah. So that is how I really wanted to do this and hear you, and because parenting is a difficult task. It's really difficult
It's not. I think we make it so.
for me.
Yeah. No, I'm
I
saying,
lose I lose myself very easily.
yeah. And I mean, the whole objective behind these sessions is really to see if we can ease that pressure a bit.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens today.
Yes. Waiting for it.
Parenting for an adolescent is really tough.
Mm.
Kids, I think if we are transparent, it is good. But with adolescents, it really takes sometimes lot of it takes away my energy, and I need to be really cool with them.
Yep. I have two sons, and it's actually been fun. And somewhere it wasn't about them, it was about, I just found it was about me. Okay, so here's a request to keep your cameras on. I know it's a Sunday morning. Nobody's judging.
I'm okay with this.
It's just it's better this way. I struggle talking to names. Thank you so much, all of you, for putting on your cameras. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes and then we'll begin. I was just saying, anything you want to ask or say before we begin?
I only have just this moment. I have a thought.
Brilliant. Go ahead.
Who gave this word fear to this word fear? Actually, like for a second, I felt the word fear itself is a different word. Actually, so I was just thinking about.
Check the etymology.
May I add something?
Please.
Yeah, I was wondering from evolution point of view, fear was the first thing that kept everyone alive, from humans when we were in jungles and cavemen. So that that emotion must have been very strong and must have been put into words very early in time, because fear for your life is what will keep humans going on. So I think evolution wise, that must have been the word that was coined down quite early.
For the emotion.
Yeah, as emotion, yeah.
But why that word fear? Fear.
You
Just
have
to
an
add,
alternate?
Sorry, no, I was just adding to what Priya just said. If I'm not wrong, fear is one of the primary emotions. one of the six primary emotions. So I guess that's what makes us, like, it's one of the humans that makes us humans.
So Mamta, does that answer your question? You're not happy with it? So are you asking about the word, or you asking about the feeling that it generates?
I'm not asking of the feeling it generates. I know
Okay.
fear
The
is
word,
the
the
mother
word,
of
right?
all emotions. I know
Okay.
that actually. It's a
Okay.
mother of all emotions. But I'm just asking who framed it as fear. Actually. That's just that. Nothing else. The
Okay.
word fear.
We're trying to
That's all.
check that. So we're trying to look at the etymology or the origin of the
Yes.
word, see where it comes from.
So it comes from Middle English, baby, and it was for a calamity or suddenly.
What, share it with them.
Okay, let me check.
Just talk about it. Tell them what it says.
I can't because if I switch it on the
Oh, okay. So what's the
I'll just put it on the screen.
ah?
Here both noun and verb. Okay.
Does that help?
Slightly, yes.
Okay. Great. Okay, let's whoever wanted to be here, I guess, is here now. And let's begin. Yeah. I need to share screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So before we begin, this is me. I've got all this stuff going on, just as you do, and just as all of us do. It's probably the foundation of what we're trying to talk about. That we all experienced something in childhood, stuff happened in our subconscious, we built a set of beliefs, we were brought up in a particular way, then we went to school. And so that's me. And that's you. And you're saying this guy, here he is. We don't know who he is. We don't know why he's doing a thing like this. And I'm assuming there's a lot of things that are going on in your head. So I just want to get that out there. So, is there anything you want to know about me? We will be discussing the topic anyway, but one of the easiest things to do is to say, who's this guy? I don't know him. Why should I believe? Or why should I listen? Or, there's a lot of stuff around that. So if you feel like you want to know anything, feel free to ask. 5 questions as a group.
What song were you listening to or playing before this?
No, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. I'll check in with you separately. So I've got I've got a playlist in Spotify that I call Sticky. And I don't know if it happens to you, but I know that some mornings I just wake up and there's a song going on in my head. Until I listen to it, I struggle a lot. So I don't struggle. It's just God, man. Let's listen to it and get it over and done with. So for the past 3 hours, I was waiting, and then finally, I said, "Okay, got to listen to it." So I was. Are you a Salman Khan fan?
I'm agnostic about this.
Okay, great. Don't worry about who it is. It's just the. I think some of these songs have been, and don't go by the words or anything, okay? And don't go by the video. Just go by the beat, the rhythm, and then if you're okay and you don't judge, then I will tell you. Okay, so that's one question. Anything else you need to know?
I watched the videos link that Chetan sent yesterday, and one thing that one question that came to my mind was, how did you get into this experiential learning field? I mean, what made you go into it? What was the starting point?
So I didn't know it existed when I started. I just finished my. I think my journey in corporate life was over. After 12 years of it, I kind of retired hurt, and I didn't know what I was worth. And I had only one thing in my head, and it was essentially, I don't want to do stuff for money. So I had to find a way to be looked after. Simple, right? I mean, if you say money is a problem, then you want to make it somebody else's problem. So they earn for you. So I went and joined a boarding school. So they gave me a place to stay, and they gave me food to eat, and they gave me a fairly meager salary, which was great. And then a different kind of energy emerged. And all the things that I'd always wanted to do, I started doing. And just working with kids is such an enriching experience. And that's how I discovered that when you take, and this was in the context, so the context is children. And when you take children outdoors, something happens to them that was remarkable. I think the question in my head was, how? And I didn't give it much thought, but the journey, the next 10 years journey through education systems or schooling systems and teaching in schools gave it form and shape. And only, I think, 8 years into that journey, I discovered that there was such a thing as experiential education, outdoor education. And then my real education began. So I've been in this field for about 35 years now.
Okay, thank you.
So just to continue with this, Vishwas, I just wanted to ask you, I mean, just don't take me wrong here. I mean, teaching others' kids is far more easier, I guess, than teaching your own kid and understanding what they are going through when you have 100 things going on in your mind. I guess, sometimes you lose out on it and you don't understand what exactly they are trying to say. And probably, the other things come out, the other emotions come out. And then you realize later on when you are, at peace in your mind, and then you realize, oh, she was talking about this. And then you go into another type of guilt, and then you understand, okay, no, I was not trying to understand her, and I was not trying to be very vocal about it, but I just tried to shout and mellow down the situation that time. So I just wanted to ask you, what keeps you going first, and second, how far you think teaching your own kid is different than teaching the others? Because it's very easy for me to tell her friends, yes, this is the right way to do it.
My brain's very incapable of listening to more than one question.
Sorry. Yeah. So anyone that you want to pick, yeah.
So, I pick it?
Yep, sure.
But the question is yours. I may pick the right one.
Yeah, so for my first preference is how far it is different to teach, somebody else's kid than to teach your own kid.
Oh,
Or to tell them, to
huge,
understand them.
huge difference. And I think what I found was when I can bring the person that's in the classroom, when I can bring that person home, then it works a lot better. And we will be touching upon it as to why is that so, and how was I able to do it, and was I able to do it? I don't know. Sometimes I say a lot of this stuff, and after every one of these sessions where I've laid a claim, I check in with my sons and say, hey, I said this. Is any of that true? And I think they would be the best judge of it. But just for argument's sake, I'm going to say that I don't think I suffered parenting. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, to an extent, yes.
Okay. And we'll be diving into it a little more
Yeah.
soon. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's 3 questions up. 2 more if there's anybody who wants to ask. Otherwise, we'll move on. Ashwini, when did you get a kid?
My help's daughter.
Oh, okay.
What was your fear while parenting actually throughout this journey? What was your biggest fear? Maybe I can say what was. I'm not asking what is your fear. I know.
Wow. Give me a second, yeah? I think I guess my biggest fear was did I do a good job? And I have no idea what that means. But if you flip the question and you say, how will we as parents ever know whether we've done a good job or not? I don't know if there's a direct answer to that. And what if I say yes? And what if I say no? And I realize that this question cannot be answered by me. It has to be answered by my children. And then how we ask that question to our children also matters. So I just say that it's one of those questions, and like a lot of the parenting questions, it's one of those questions that has no answer. And the beauty is we also have the freedom to choose whatever answer we like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm a good parent. Oh, great. Okay, brilliant. Go ahead and do whatever you're doing. But so I think today what we're going to try and do is I just want to give you a jhalak, so to speak, or an insight into something that I got new perspective on very recently. And suddenly it's become really huge. And I realize how important it is, which is why I chose the word fear. Okay. Anybody here who's not afraid? Anybody who's not afraid? Okay, maybe you're saying, God, what a stupid question. Of course I'm afraid. Yeah, we are. Great. So let's just take a look at that. Okay. And I'm just going to do some kind of a dissection into it, and feel free to stop me anytime you want. So a quick one. What are your expectations from today? Do you have any?
No expectation. Just go with you.
Okay.
Actually.
I'm expecting that I'll become better in parenting. Like, I scream a lot and lose myself easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that moment only I feel very bad and like I say sorry to her, but still I don't want that things to happen. I want the peace of mind.
Okay.
So I have a very curious child, right from like, he was a babe in arms. I've seen that side to him, which continues even after 7 years. And we as parents have tried to do as much to not like, sort of tame that aspect, because it's a very precious value or attitude to have. So exploring curiosity, when I came across this, I just wanted to know that how I as a parent can make myself even more ready to keep that open for him and let that grow for him. So I'm not able to articulate it very well, but that's why I have a child who is very curious and I want to keep it going for him.
Got it. Thank you.
दो बेटा उठा के इसको कम से कम ले
One more and then we'll move on.
जगह है वहाँ पे रखने की यार एक
Okay, great.
Oh, yeah. Can I come?
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yes, Sumedha.
Yeah. So, I would like to learn how to differentiate between, as a parent, how to give differential experience to my son in, exploring versus having some discipline. So maybe that disciplinary aspect goes beyond sometimes and make me overpowering in the situation, and then I go into the thinking that maybe he was exploring and I was more into disciplining him more. So how to balance it out or not at all, what are the repercussions around that.
Yep. Balance is a hard word. We try to do it and I don't know if it exists. We keep trying so hard, right?
Mm.
So I'm just going to leave that balance. I'm going to forget you said that. What I'm hearing you say is that there are two aspects to it. And how do I enrich my child's experience? And how do I also in the process, actually, one of the dilemmas is this, that we focus too much on the child. And I think that's a huge problem. Because the moment the spotlight's on the kid, we're taking the spotlight away from ourselves. And when we do that, everything becomes about the child. And so we don't pay attention to our own, what's going on with us. But who you are is what your child is picking up, what children pick up a lot more easily and a lot more powerfully than what you tell them. Okay. So thank you.
One in the chat.
Yeah.
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 She says, I want to know how the being more interactive and confident behavior since he's extremely active at home, but very quiet in school and not interactive.
Okay. So there was something in the chat and Che was reading that out to me. And again, I'm going to come back to the same thing, which is, I think we need to stop spotlighting our children. And I'll tell you why as we go through this. Can you, Yeah. So I'm going to share the screen, and this is I
One-
thrown a
One more
question out
question,
there.
can I ask?
Oh yeah,
My
yeah, yeah,
son, yeah.
please.
My son is now 6 years old.
Six.
He is like 6 years, like
Okay.
5.8 years.
Yeah.
He has too many questions around electricity. Like he explores too many. Like he has many DC motors, batteries, wires, all those. He wants to see the inside of the toys, everything. I do as much as possible from my side, but that basically is not my interest. And at some extent, I can't add more to that interest of his. So that point, what we should, like as a parent, how I
Do
should.
you feel like you need to contribute more?
Yeah, but I don't have that knowledge
Wait,
for his
Sankranti,
extra
hold on,
questions.
hold on. Maybe that's the problem. I have a dog also. And I found that my relationship with my dog is not very different from my relationship with my children. And I think that big difference is that I have faith that when my dog's hungry, she will ask for food. And I wonder, and those of you who have pets, I wonder if you keep feeding your dog just because you think they're hungry. And somewhere one of the values that may be important, and the thing is, you're coming from your value system, right?
Yes.
If your child is interested in motors and electricity, you feel like you have to know.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't. And the moment
What is the next step? Next step. What should be my next step? That is where I am.
Good. We're going to do that today. First, it's not about doing. Again, you're doing exactly what we were talking about, spotlighting the kid. And I'm saying, let's take that spotlight away and see what happens.
Yes.
And can we turn that spotlight here? Because think of this.
Yes.
You have anxiety.
See me.
Yeah, because that's what's now transferring. Because, oh God, I don't know anything about electricity and I'm not even interested. How am I going to feed my kid? Problem. Okay, we'll come to it. So the question I had asked was, what is it that you most say to your children? And this is what we've got. And I was going through this, and this is what I discovered, that they're all almost the same. There's a commonality to these. Wash your hands, brush your teeth, smile, love you, eat properly, let's study for some time, wash your face, brush it, speak politely. What's the commonality?
Instructions.
Instructions. Do that. One is instruction.
Instructions. Yeah.
What else? Where is it coming from?
It's one way.
Great. Write this down, because this is what possibly needs to, those of you who are note takers, please write it down, because just think of what's going on. And if I made this one way, what would it become for you? God, you'd go to sleep or you'd walk away, right?
Boring, yes.
Yeah. And we want our children to be interested when we give them instructions. How's that fair? Okay, what's the other commonality? It's one way, their instructions. Okay, I'm going to flip the question now. Do you know why you're doing this? Why do we give instructions? Okay, those of you who haven't put your cameras on, I'd request you to please do that because the interactions for me is critical that I see you. You don't have to comb your hair. I don't.
Probably the main reason is again coming back to this because we have a fear they should not fail.
Yeah. Okay,
And-
stop. Great. Thank you so much for the beginning, Megha. And this is true with almost everything else. Look at those instructions. We don't want them to fail. Yes? Commonality across all of them, including mommy loves you. Okay, I'm going to push that button a little now. Some of this was really hard for me. I expect it'll be hard for you, but let's just remember. Oh, my disclaimer. What's my disclaimer? I arrived at this. I've been doing some of this stuff for some time. This is not a parenting workshop. I'm not going to give you instructions. I'm not going to give you solutions. I have no answers. This whole thing is an experiment. Play with it. Okay? Great. So, let's just push that button. What did I say? Why do we say those things? Megha, what did you say?
The fear of failure, that they should not fail.
Great. Whose failure?
Kids and ours too. I said kids and ours too.
Wait. What's the problem with the kid failing?
We get hurt.
So this is not about the kid. This is not about our children. This is about how we don't want to feel. Mama loves you. And then what? What if you don't get a peck on the cheek? Big problem. Tie your laces. Do your homework. What if the kid doesn't do homework? So here's the concept. Anybody wants to push back right now, do so, but you can push back anytime you want. Okay? I realized that a lot of the stuff that even I find myself saying has nothing to do with anybody else. It really is about how I want to or don't want to feel at the end of it, including my dog. Oh, sorry, is there somebody who wants to say something?
Yeah, so I completely agree what you said, and keep on reminding myself on that part.
Sumedha?
But
Sumedha?
yeah,
Don't be nice to me.
no. So
Don't agree with
hear
me.
me out. No,
hear
hear
a
me
but.
out. Hear me out.
I'm hearing a but.
But is the society.
so
but
now
are the teachers, but are the other parents who keep pressurizing you कि अरे क्या कर रहे हो, तुम्हारा बेटा ऐसे कर रहा है, तुम्हारा ध्यान नहीं है, family pressure.
You want an answer to that?
Yes.
Give me an example.
So if my son gets angry in the school, teacher will immediately call it out in the next parents meeting. You need to focus
I'm
on
going
your
to be
son.
the parent and you be the teacher. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Vishwas, your son gets too much angry in the school. He throws things at other kids, and he screams, he shouts. So you need to give time to him. You need to focus. You need to basically spend quality time with him more while at home.
Ma'am, do you get angry?
Yes. So those throwing things, screaming.
What is your equivalent of throwing things? Things?
So
Do you throw words? I'm so glad my son gets angry. Because when he gets angry, then now I can have a conversation with him about it.
Mhm.
I'm just going to flip anything you say to what I can do about it.
Mm.
Just because your son gets angry and throws things does not make him a bad kid. You see, the parent, that emotional connect is what we think it's a good thing. I'm sure it is. But I'm not sure that nurturing necessarily needs some of the stuff that we put out there. So I'm just going to talk about the mechanics of fear for now, okay? And then maybe this will answer some of your questions.
Mm.
Okay, so please challenge anything you don't like or you don't understand. We've gone past that age when survival was equal to being killed. We've gone past that stage. Survival has taken on very new meanings. And Sumedha, what your response to a teacher saying that to you about your child is now becoming your survival response. Survival in society, survival as a parent, survival image. Oh God, the list is long. Got it? And I'm going to name some of that soon. But I'm proposing that fear is a product of thinking. And that thinking is invariably around some of these issues. Because there is uncertainty, because I need or want attention, because there is a struggle, and because change is becoming what appears inevitable. Sumedha, in your story, which one is it?
Struggle.
Could it be uncertainty?
Mm.
I mean, you can talk to your son, but it's not going to prevent him from feeling angry and throwing things. And today is throwing things outside. Can you imagine a scenario where he starts throwing that anger inside? Do you know what that means?
Mm.
Throwing anger inside is what you're doing right now is throwing your uncertainty and struggle inside, because that emerges as guilt.
True.
It emerges as shame. I'm not good enough. Yeah? Okay. What did you see when you saw the teachers telling you the story of anger and throwing things? and you saw an image, right? We don't stop there, you see, we do this crazy thing. Oh, what happens if he's 20 years old and he is continuing to do this, or 25 years old and continues? Future pain.
No. So worry is basically, I know once he's, once he's old, he is going to stop all these things. But worry
Ah,
is that
really?
internally how he would balance the emotions.
Wait.
How would he deal with it
How do you
internally?
know this? If you are seeing a calm person, what's your problem? Isn't it a beautiful picture? So what's the anxiety and guilt about?
Would he be able to manage his
Ah,
emotions
and let's
when
say
he
he
gets
isn't.
older?
Let's say he isn't.
He will himself be unhappy. He will be sad.
What about you?
Yeah, it will make me also sad.
Great. Now here's what we do. Now, suddenly this whole thing becomes hard, right? It's like a dark place, scary. Because the uncertainty, attention, struggle, and change generate that black hole. I don't know what to do. What if this? What if that? Okay, so far?
Yep.
Okay. Now, so we've got two options at this stage, and I think the choice we're making as we have this conversation is essentially this. Do I want to stay in this space or not? Raise your hand if you want to stay in that space. Okay, not a nice place. So here are the options, and you will recognize them. And I'm going to describe it a little differently. I'm going to describe it by using what we call a line. What does this line do? What's that line doing right now to the stream?
Divides.
Great. And so it's dividing what?
The sphere, the circle, the black circle.
Also the space here, right?
Yes.
And what would you call this space? And what would you call that space?
Upper and lower end.
Brilliant. Let's just call it below the line and above the line.
Yeah.
Great. Now, below the line is what prevents us from doing things at its simplest. Above the line are things that enable us. So in the context of this sphere, we have a choice. We can either go below the line or we can go above the line. Okay? And here's what happens if you're below the line.
A quick question. Will you be sharing these slides with us later?
Yep.
Thanks.
But those of you who are note takers, there's a lot of stuff said around the topic that you decide how you want to do it. Yes, we will be sharing this with you. Okay, so below the line is pain, and pain being described by these words. And above the line is this. So when you hear a comment about your child by somebody else, you have a choice. And we think this is going to bring us into action, but this action is invariably, it doesn't help the relationship. This is easier to go to. Biologically, we're designed to go there. We've got to use our brain to make that choice of saying, hey, okay, my child gets angry and throws things. Okay, can I accept it? But we carry the fear. And all we remember at this point in time now is the fear. So this is the basic mechanics of it. Okay. I'm going to move ahead. Okay. Okay, fears of things that happen. Give me an example. You have no control over it. I give you one that's in the news right now, Joshimath. I don't know if you've been watching the news. That place is falling apart. Yeah. Natural disasters. And here's a longer list. I'm in that phase of life where the last one's really is real for me. And it's not even a fear, it's a reality. It's over. They've both flown away. And I can continue to feel dejected and depressed or afraid or whatever it is that I feel, or I can make a choice and say, hey, did I not know this was going to happen? So this is fears that happen. Any comments or questions?
So hi Vishwas, Nasreen here.
Yes, Nasreen.
So in the previous slide, when it was below the line was pain, and then above the line was power, isn't the mechanics like you go through pain and then go to power?
Oh God, no. Why would you want to do that? Unless you enjoy it.
Not enjoy. I mean, like when you're hit with that fear, then you kind of
stop. You don't have to be. You're accepting that that your first response is going to be fear. Why can't you be hit with acceptance? Why can't you be hit with courage?
So if we come back to this slide and say, okay, there's a natural disaster or the child is going away, and you hit with not fear, but you hit with courage, like, okay, I'm very strong and my child is going away.
Go on.
And then, so you're essentially telling me that we don't go through that pain and straight away go into the power?
Nasreen, we don't
Ah.
have to. I'm not saying we don't.
Ah.
I'm saying we do.
We do.
I did. How do I flip it is the question. Because when I operate, so my younger one went off to study in Canada.
Okay.
And all those anxieties and fears, accommodation, money, the course itself, will he settle in? It's going to be cold. It went through the winter, minus 25 degrees. Oh God, you know, I had choice. I could have got anything to scare the hell out of me, including
Okay.
he's going to miss his flight.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
It's amazing what we do to ourselves. Why we choose torture as a means to arrive anywhere is kind of interesting. Okay, so here's another. That was level 1. Now we're looking at level 2.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Vishwas.
Welcome. You're supposed to enjoy the cartoon, okay? I mean, I just love this character, and our kids are like this, right?
We also are
Yeah.
like this sometimes.
Right. I'm sure your parents think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's that, the big one. We're afraid of taking action. Here's a list. We haven't even come to that place of taking action. We're just afraid because we're still in that thinking darkness, procrastination. We've already gone below the line. Can you add more to this? Give me yours. What are you afraid of? Sometimes just saying it is that world of difference. The biggest fear is the fear of stating that I am afraid. Because the world is saying, "Arey, why are you afraid, yaar? Ho jayega, sab theek ho jayega." Anybody with something that's not here, willing to state it?
Well, I think I'm quite a liberal and experiential parent, and my kid is at the age where the birds and bees talk is due, and my approach to it was that he probably already knows something, and I just need to figure out whether what he knows is correct or not. And when I did bring that up, he said, "I know." So I said, "Tell me what you know." And he said, "No, let's end this lesson." And one part of me says, "Okay, I trust it," but there's another part of me that worries. I mean, like, how do I reach out to that side where I don't want to intrude on his freedom, but at the same time, I want to keep him safe.
And why do you want to keep him safe? And what's the potential outcome if he's not safe, whatever that means?
Not to have distorted ideas about gender, sexuality. Yeah, because I mean, you see a lot of toxic stuff out there.
Yeah.
And
So I think so. My question would be: you're never going to know, right? And now that we really don't know, and we will never know, we have a choice: either control or manage oneself. Because I can live with that fear for the rest of my life. And here's the thing, it doesn't stop with me just feeling fear. That fears, that anxiety, the fear is going to emerge in my relationship with him. And I think that's where the conflict, the struggle, the pain begins. Or not begins, continues. And if there is another way of looking at this, if I can figure out that I have no control over the outcome of whatever is in his head in the context of sexuality, gender, so on and so forth, what role can I play that continues to nurture, to be there, to be available, accessible? What can I do? Because there's nothing I can do beyond that. And that's something I need to do for myself.
makes sense.
And I think that separation is what I'm trying to build, and the action necessary. Therefore, to not judge or measure where he is at on the basis of the conversation, but just through having faith that he will find his way, and when he doesn't, and he hits a wall, that hopefully you will be there. And I think if we can begin this early, really early with our children, and stop throwing our anxiety and all the fears that we carry about what we think is going to happen to them, if we can bring that early into our own development and growth, I think the relationship with our children will be far more nurtured. Because that the answers that you gave to that question that we sent you, every answer hidden behind that is what happens to me that I don't want happening to me. And then I just say, no, but you know what? I'll be really unhappy if my child gets hurt. Yeah, you will. But your child is going to get hurt. He is going to run. He is going to fall. He is going to need a doctor. So, is this about you or is this about him? And it invariably turns out that it's about me. So, my children grew up on a campsite. And of course, they kept falling. And of course, they kept getting bruised knees and, cuts and cliff edges and so on and so forth, that whole story. I don't want to go into it. But here's the wisest thing my dad told me. He said, you are living a life of adventure. That's your life. You chose it. They see it. They're choosing it. Did you ever do an adventure where you did not absolutely get hurt in any way? Adventure is uncertainty. Adventure is risk. We forget that. We try to make everything predictable. And that's where the fear comes from. So he said, look, there's nothing you can do. And I'll tell you what you can do. Always carry a first aid kit. Because the more you prevent them, the more they're going to want to do something. You put up walls, they will climb them. You put up barriers, they will sneak through. Inevitable. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Please see if you can name the action that you see, we're all bright. We know what action needs to be taken. We're just afraid of taking action. And if you can take 10 seconds and write down any one action that you're afraid to take about anything. It could be your career, your children, whoever, whatever it is. What are you afraid of? What action are you afraid to take? Just take 10 seconds, if you can, and write it down. Ravi, there's something you put up there. And my question to you is, what's the problem with your daughter crying?
Sir, this time also we facing one problem with her. No, actually, see, nowadays she don't want to participate in any quiz, any game.
Yep.
And
the problem.
It is not a problem, but some means before some month, she is always love to participate in every competition.
What is it doing to you?
Not getting, sir.
Let's make some assumptions. Your child is not choosing to participate. What's the problem?
No problem, sir. We have no problem. But I want to know, miss, why she do not miss? There are some something happened between कुछ हुआ है या नहीं? मैं वही जानना चाह रहा था. Why this
हुआ तो
happens?
है भैया, हुआ तो है.
Yes, sir. Because we are not forcing her to do anything, sir. Okay, if she is.
आपकी चिंता क्या है?
It's a problem. What is happened during that period, means I want to know. Yes, sir.
अब ये टीचर हो या पेरेंट हो, हमें तो आदत है दूसरों को बदलने की.
नो सर, मैं बदलना नहीं चाह रहा सर.
सुनिए मेरी बात तो सुनिए.
यस सर.
अगर बदलना नहीं चाहते हो तो चिंता कहाँ की है? तो वो रो पड़ी, ठीक है, तो टीचर ने कुछ कहा, वो रो पड़ी.
यस.
तो क्या हुआ? Can you separate your emotions from it? बच्चे तो रोते हैं, बड़े भी रोते हैं.
So sir, it is not a problem. Means ये कोई problem नहीं है. It is a natural thing. Means as a parent, we want to solve, or if she have facing any fear.
Ravi, did you just hear yourself? Did you just hear what you said?
Yes, sir.
As a parent, we want to solve our children's problems.
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's the problem. The child crying is not a problem. And we don't know what to do. And you know what the truth is? We can't do a damn thing. Unless we separate the teacher from the child. Now that teacher, you just use the word teacher, but it could be you.
Yes.
And here's my proposal. We think we need to do something for ourselves before we can do anything for our children. Because the moment your child cries, my child cries, I feel anxiety. Hi Anna, क्यों रो रही है? अब उसके पीछे जो साइकोलॉजी है वो समझ, आप अगर समझ भी गए ना तो कुछ कर नहीं पाओगे.
Okay, sir.
और ये जो हेल्पलेसनेस है ना, जो हमें महसूस होता है कि अब किसी ने कुछ कहा, मेरी बच्ची रो रही है, अब मैं क्या करूं? ये जो हेल्पलेसनेस है, there is we just complicate it even more, because now the child is afraid to cry because my father feels anxiety when I cry.
Okay.
And there's no problem about crying. The problem is not in the crying, it's in seeing if we can build a relationship with our children from a place of who we become. If we are anxious, angry, controlling, disciplining parents, just know this, we will face resistance. Inevitable. That is the law of life. So I think the basic premise behind this whole curiosity, the idea behind curiosity in parenting is we think we've got it right. And we parent from a position of what I'm going to call knowing. I know, you don't. Discipline. Earlier there was a word used, discipline. What is discipline? Following a certain set of rules set by somebody else? And is the only way to learn discipline by going through following somebody else's rules when you're a child? I'm sure all of us went through disciplining, right? Are you what they told you to be? We're not going to be. So, I mean, we've got this wisdom all around us in our own lives. Let's just look at it and say, what happened to me? I was beaten to pulp because I didn't do a certain thing. आज भी मैं वही कर रहा हूं, मारने वाला कोई नहीं है, बस अब मैं किसी और को मार रहा हूं. How crazy. Anyway, we've got a limited amount of time. This is just supposed to be a starter for the larger piece, but here's the next thought.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
I have a question here.
Yes, please.
Sankrant here. My son, he is, I have actually, what you are saying now about the fear, I have a fear, like I am allergic to some foods. Okay, so, and I don't know, maybe I have maybe that has gone to him from my thoughts, maybe because they are so much close to us. Now, even he will face some adenoids. He has the adenoids problems. He can't breathe properly through his nose, and he will be breathing through his mouth. So whenever he eats some foods like some fried foods or some curd or dairy, something, maybe it is my fear that has transferred to him, and I say don't eat. And sometimes he also feel, but still he eats, and he suffers that. So at this point, what should I say? I should just allow him, or I am now recently I am feeling maybe it is not the food, maybe it is my fear. Sometimes I feel maybe it is psychosomatic and my fear has brought in that.
Yeah.
So I am not able to
So who,
actually
Sankranti, you know the answer. You just want affirmation from me. Where do you think something needs to happen?
so we should allow the kids to eat what they like and how it
Wrong
is.
question. Wrong question. Where do you think something needs to happen? With you
Yeah,
or with
with
him?
me.
That's
No,
all.
with me.
That's all.
So I should be quiet whenever is
Ah,
it like it is in my mind.
You see that we've got to understand this first, that we affect our children.
Yes, that
Our
is 100%.
state of being affects our children.
So
Now,
instead of we working on our state of being, we are constantly we are constantly telling them only actions. Actually, that will not. If they are doing only the actions, what we are saying, even they will not be. Like,
see,
yeah,
I told you you have the wisdom. Now you just have to do something about it.
yes.
Next time it happens, just you begin by this. Next time it happens, now, catch yourself. Just become a little more aware of what you're doing. And this is about you. This is not about him.
Yes,
And I'm telling you, when you start doing this, it's so exciting. It's just incredibly energizing. But damn, I caught myself, not after I told him, don't eat, don't eat. I caught myself before I told him that. And now what am I going to do? I don't know. Don't ask me that question. But you will know what to do. Just find a pause, find a place of quiet and calm.
And somewhere we are trying to make them do what we were not enabled to do. It's like that. Somewhere.
Yeah. Look at how unfair life is, no?
Yes.
And all children suffer their parents. That's my proposal. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Here's the next thought. We've got only a certain amount of time and Che wants some time. So I just want to finish this. It's just a couple of slides more. Now, here's the problem. The problem isn't that we are afraid. The problem isn't that we are afraid of outcomes. The problem is that we believe that we cannot handle it. What are you saying to yourself that you can't handle? I can't handle my son eating groundnuts because I am allergic to groundnuts. You hear what I'm saying, Sankranti? Yep. I can see that smile. I hear you. I see you get it. So this is a proposal to all of you. If you can write down what you're saying to yourself that you can't handle, then that's the beginning for the next thing.
Vishwas.
Yeah.
Again, Nasreen. So my inner dialogue at when I reach this state is not I can't handle. I don't want to handle.
Ah, even more entertaining. Don't want to handle, which means that you know have to handle it, but you don't want to. Yes?
Yes, yes.
Great. Then have fun. Then life is Bollywood.
Bollywood. Because you're like, no, I don't want to handle this.
I know.
Just don't. I
Run away from it. Don't want it.
yeah,
Stay in
run. The
pain.
word is run.
Stay in pain. That's the outcome.
Yeah, kind of.
Have fun.
I just wanted to add to what Nasreen said, Vishwas. I fear taking responsibility.
That's it. You've named it. Okay. Now that you've named it, is that a choice you want to make?
Yes.
Okay. Then you know what the outcome is. Yes?
Yes, but I'm pushed to take responsibility.
No. Don't blame the world. Don't blame the world yet. Nobody is pushing you. Somebody pushes you. Do you have a choice? Do you?
I have a choice.
That's all. And can we assume you're making the choices that matter to you today? And that choice might change tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you have the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
That's it. Just that's the power position.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I kind of thought about this slide and I said, am I trying to scare you? No, I'm not. But this is real. And this is not just parenting. This is about us being in every role that we ever play in life. Husband, wife, son, daughter, mother, father. Whatever we pick up, we will transfer unknowingly to our children. Okay, so I'm done for today. I'm guessing people have somewhere to be and we have a choice. If there's something you want to ask or say, go ahead. But we have 5 minutes and then I'm going to give it over to Chetan, the father of Sochu. Yes, Santosh.
If I may ask, can we have a quick recap of earlier slides, if it is possible, if time is around there? I missed out on a lot of stuff.
We're going to share the slide deck.
Thank you.
I don't know how you're going to share it. Okay, he'll figure it out.
I sort of, Vishwas, just want to summarize for myself, keeping in mind the expectations that I shared earlier. So if I understand it correctly, when we talk about curiosity, exploring curiosity, nurturing the curiosity that our children have, the first step is to give up or rather channelize the fear we have as parents. Have I got it to some extent correctly?
Can I influence it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is not about managing your child's curiosity. This is about managing our own curiosity.
Okay.
So, my son's going to play, and I notice he hasn't worn his shoes. What's my natural response?
He'll hurt his feet.
Right? Now I'm already gone to that place. And can I slow that process down? And I say, does he know he's going to hurt his feet? Or is it my idea? And unless I ask that question, I'm going to keep operating from the same place of fear of him getting hurt.
Right.
So now I come to a place of curiosity and say, hey, hold on. I don't know if he's going to get hurt. I'm going to ask him what his idea is behind playing without shoes.
Right.
And and learning to do that flip. Coming from a place of I know everything to I don't know, because there's a whole bunch of kids all over the world who play barefoot. They don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Or they do get hurt. And then what? You just put a little tincture iodine on it, get the kid to scream for 30 seconds, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, who learns the lesson, you or him?
Yeah,
So
good question.
That's it. So can we approach even once we recognize our anxiety, can we approach all that from a place of curiosity instead of a place of knowing?
Yeah.
That's what the rest of the stuff is about.
Yeah. Thanks, Vishwas. That was really very insightful. Thank you.
My joy. Have fun with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't get anxious about it. Have fun with it.
Yes, yes, totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Don't add to your anxiety list.
Yes.
Sorry, somebody had a hand raised.
Yeah, so I guess I'm still quite a bit off from handling my own insecurities and anxiety, but I think I have a better understanding of it now. But just coming back to this question of the wall, and when he hits a wall, he should know that I'm there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we've been practicing is to teach him to fight his own battles. So when he has a fight with his friends, we say, you go and figure it out. I'm not going to come and help you. And he says, you're not there to help me. I mean, so I'm curious whether that is closing the door to my being available when he hits the wall.
He just wants you to solve his problems like we all do. We like somebody else solving our problems, no? So he's saying, and he's just using that whole emotional piece saying, oh, you mean you're not there to help me? No, I'm there to help you, son. It's just what kind of help you want and what kind of help I think I can give you are different. That's the game. It's not about help. I'm there. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yes. Thanks.
Okay, Jay, all yours. You just mute me, no? Huh. Yeah.
Hi. Oh. Hi. Okay. So I just wanted to take 5 minutes to tell all of you why we're doing this. We started Sochu about 7 years ago, and then I think 2 years into Sochu, I met Vishwas and I did his course. And ever since I've done the course in experiential ed, we've been using all of those techniques and trying to put them into stories in Sochu. And even through that, everything we learned at Vishwas's class, I was like, man, this is stuff that should have been taught to us in school. I feel like it's so important for us, for all our relationships. I think even just the way we look at life, for me, has been extremely insightful after doing the course that Vishwas does. And this is why when we did Sochu and we got everything going over time, I reached out to Vishwas and I told him that I wanted to do something which was parenting, but not really parenting. Because I think that word has been used in lots of ways. I see Vishwas shaking his head there. So that's when we came up with the whole thought of, because Vishwas is like, no, we're not calling it parenting. And then when we started brainstorming on what the sessions would be, we came up with the whole thought about curiosity, because we believe that that was the one thing that was essential in our relationships with our children. Not just children, I would say any kind of relationships, but since we're doing it as a Sochu thing, we called it as parents. So this was this first session is a starter session, and then beyond this we have 4 more sessions that we do. So I will send all of you the details for the larger session later as well, including the dates and everything. But we do need 15 people at minimum to be able to run that session. So I'll also send you guys a poll on WhatsApp just to get an idea of who all would be interested in doing the session. Yeah. I think that's about it. I'll share all the stuff on WhatsApp, and I hope you guys have a good Sunday. And
Thank you, Chetan.
if you have anything to Vishwas, I'm going to pass it back to him now.
So on the last slide and the last sentence of it, we transfer it to children. Is it applicable to adults as well? Let's say adults who are stakeholders or closely connected.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, my follow-up question to that is, if you are on the other side or being transferred to, now when you know that somebody is unable to manage their fear, their anxiety, and eventually, knowingly or unknowingly, they are transferring their anxiety and fear onto me. How do I deal with it when my stakes are involved?
Easy. If you become aware of it, that's it. That's all you need. You don't need a kavach of any kind. You know? If you can see that somebody is transferring their anger and anxiety to you, that's it. That's all that's it. Then you know it. You don't have to accept it. Unless you love anxiety. Some people do, you know, naturally. Oh, I love anxiety. What am I going to be without my anxiety? Nobody. I think that whole awareness piece becomes critical when you're receiving. Yep. But, no compulsion to ask any more questions. You can leave whenever you are ready. We're just hanging around anyway.
I just had a doubt. Just wanted to ask, yeah, in the sense we've had like my husband suddenly got a stroke and is currently bedridden, and kids are small. So I just want to know how would it be a little easier for them to pass through the trauma? Not that they are very disturbing or the behavior is very changed or anything, but somehow there are some instances where I feel probably this is out of the trauma that they have got, and I just leave it. So I do not know whether I should just leave it, or should we wait, or should we understand those emotions, or just leave it and move on. For example, it is that very small things that my daughter will cry out loudly, very loudly, and probably, like I put it in the comment box also, that probably it's just that I feel those things are small and for her maybe they are not. But But it happens so that we as a family, all of us are going through that trauma. So I sometimes feel probably my emotions are also out of that trauma. And we just leave it there. But I feel that is it leaving some kind of impression on her?
It has to. It will. I think culturally we try and hide it. And we don't talk about it. And when we don't talk about it, we are not talking about it transfers to them. And they say, oh, even I shouldn't talk about it. So I scream. I mean, I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying that she's screaming.
Yeah, got
because-
it, got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't hide it. Can't be hidden.
There's some questions in the chat.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There's some questions in the chat. So one is from Sumedha. I recently those cases of depression resulting into addiction and death in my family. And hence the anxiety if my son doesn't learn to balance his emotions, doesn't reflect, he should not hit that wall once he's older. How should be my approach? Or is it his journey only and I should just keep sharing my experiences with him and leave the rest to him?
Wow. Okay. So Che was just reading out to me something that was in the chat. And Sumedha, may I respond? So I think for me, I'm just gonna share with you what I'm thinking. Yeah. I know I have no control over what happens to my children. The only thing I have control over is who I am, where I am today. And can I be the gardener to my children? Which means the daily nurturing, the daily consciousness of who they are, where they are, how they're receiving the world. And can I also pay attention to how I'm receiving the world? Because if I stay anxious about future pain, did you understand the shrug of the shoulders? Okay. So just pay attention to yourself. That's far more critical than you. Those kids know how to handle themselves. Yeah. Let's stop trying to push them. You know, it's like herding them through one door. They know which door to walk in and out of. Let's learn to manage ourselves first. I don't know if that's an answer, but
No, certainly. So while writing the question also, I was feeling that it's me who needs counseling more.
you are your own counselor, madam.
Yeah.
Be your own counselor. You know how it works. And half the time counseling, we think of counseling as affirmation. There's somebody else, another Gyani who's going to say, ha, wahi theek hai. I think we need to experiment with our own lives a little more before we throw the towel. Try it.
Thank you.
So my daughter doesn't want to go to the gym or gym in these 3 months, but she doesn't want to. My question is, shall we push them to explore more and then decide, or just keep telling them?
Who's that?
Vasudha.
Vasudha. May I address your question?
Yes.
Whose problem is it?
Not a problem, but I want that her flexibility
Maftuza,
increase.
whose problem is it?
I really don't know.
Let's say your kid doesn't do gymnastics.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Not a problem,
Good.
but
Not a problem. Now, whose problem is it?
mine,
What you want for your daughter.
but she needs to explore, right? She needs to.
Oh, yeah. How can she explore if you are going to tell her where to explore?
So how do we know that where we
Ah.
have to put them?
Join the workshop. No, I don't mean that. But here's what I'm saying, right? You want your kid to be curious, but you've already made up your mind about something. How is she going to even discover what curiosity if you are not curious? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because once you are curious, that curiosity will come into your language and your relationship with her. Then you'll be asking questions like, hey, okay, don't worry about gymnastics. But do you know why you don't want to do it? Then you come from a place of curiosity, not compulsion.
Yeah, so she tells that the sir screams when I ask her, sir screams, and I've spoke to the sir also. And all was fine with her. I had spoken. I don't know whether she just doesn't want to do it, doesn't want.
Can we play a role play this?
So I spoke
You're
to
going to be
sir.
your daughter.
Oh, okay. Mama, I don't want to go to gymnasts
Because
sir screams at me.
And what does he scream about?
So he just screams at me and I don't want to go.
Okay. Do I scream at you?
Yes.
What do you do? Do you do anything different from the way you respond to your sir? Do you run away from home?
No.
Do you, are you scared all the time?
No.
Is there a difference in the way you hear my screaming and your sir's screaming?
No.
No?
Because I also scream.
Great. And do you know what it does to the people you scream at?
Yeah, they become sad.
Do they run away from you?
No.
Is it possible your teacher is also feeling sad?
Yeah, maybe.
Because you run away? No answers, only questions. Now she will do whatever she wants to, and you will do whatever you want to.
Correct.
It's just that. So here's what education doesn't do. It doesn't allow you to explore so that different aspects of your life and knowledge, they need to come together. You know that famous saying, everything is connected. It is. Let's bring about those connections in our conversations, not answers, just connections.
Thank you so much.
Have fun with it. Remember,
Yeah.
don't get anxious. Just have fun with it. Just get curious. Oh, Sirisha, you're here again. Where are you? Show me your face.
Yes.
Where you been
I'm
hiding?
outside. I'm outside somewhere, so
Oh, okay. So no chance to shed a tear today, huh?
Well, I did shed some in the process, but brilliant. Thank you so much, as always.
Hello, Vishwas.
Yeah, you can log out whenever you want, okay? I'm just hanging around.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Hello.
Yes.
When it comes to the school, the curriculum, there are so many kinds of school coming up now. Like there are schools now where they say all kinds of free play is given. There are many kinds. So now my son is 5.5. So for some maybe 2 months I was exploring.
I love the
like,
way you
which
describe
schools-
your son as 5.5. I'm trying to figure it out. But go ahead anyway.
Because he is still in UKG and next he will be first standard. So that's,
Hey, he's wiser than you and me, man. I'm telling you. He just
He's
doesn't know
here.
it. Ah, there he is. See? The wise young lad. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so what is important when it comes to the choice of the school, and does that do anything? Does it really add or take something from my child? When it comes to CBSE syllabus, there are some schools. Yes.
He's sitting right next to you. Ask him. Seriously. Ask him why he goes to school.
Because
Isn't that
I
your
said.
question? Isn't that your question?
Yeah, I thought about the homeschool also, but I
Don't
don't
go
know.
there yet. Wait, don't. You thought about million things. Why are you thinking, madam? Why don't you let him think?
And that is what.
At that age, then I should be saying the same thing to you. That age has got nothing to. Look, you know this better than I do, that children at 2 are swiping screens. I think our children know what they want. It's like water. When it rains, no, it's all over the place, right? And then what do? We build these things called those pipes and dams. And we keep blocking it. By itself, before mankind came, the water went from mountain to sea, no? It didn't need pipes, didn't need dams, didn't need Joshimath situations. We create them. Can we stop being the dams and the pipes? I'm telling you, ask him. He will have an answer. And I think that answer someday will make sense to you.
He says he wants to go to the same school as where he is going now, but there is no first standard. I asked him.
Yeah, then have a conversation about the fact that there is no first standard. You know what?
I asked him whenever I used to go to the school where we want to go and see.
Don't get your anxiety to get in the middle.
No, this is not that important, right? Like curriculum, the way they teach, the number of the kids in the class. That is our anxiety. Maybe like if there are 40 kids in the class, oh God, whether my child. He is not.
He doesn't have a problem. You do. We all do as parents. There must be only 5.5 children in the classroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the number of problems we bring into the game.
Yes, really.
Blow them out of that. Put that window down and hold it. Did you read the schooling video? Did you watch the schooling video?
No, I haven't. I will watch it. But here I am from Bangalore. Here it is like so many kinds of schools are up that you are so confused as a parent. Like,
Hey, that's their job,
so
man.
you are
I'm sorry if there are any teachers here, educators here. That's their job. Confuse the hell out of the parent. Yeah.
yes, true.
Sorry, there was somebody else wanted to say something.
I have a question.
Yes, sorry.
How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Yes.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you too. Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. हमारा सवाल ना सर हमारे भांजे के लिए. He is around 6 years old and he is going to semi-English school. A very sincere boy and a very sporty boy, I would say. Foodie भी है, काफी अच्छा बच्चा है. पढ़ने में he is super good. From last 3 to 4 months now, we are being observing that whenever he is aggressive now, something he is looking for and things are not done as per his expectation. For example, he wants to go for any park or maybe for a movie. And when things are not done now, he simply disappears from the family for 2 to 3 hours. बहुत छोटा बच्चा है and 2-3 घंटे के लिए गायब हो जाता है. और या फिर ना he started hitting his head in the wall. खुद को मारने लगता है. And जितना मतलब possible था, we had a conversation with him. मेरे पापा मतलब उसके नाना जी ने भी उससे बात की है. And एक हद तक छोटे बच्चे को जिस तरह से लाड़ प्यार से समझाया जाता है वो सब कुछ करके देख लिया है. But then when he is aggressive, he is simply out of the place. And ऐसा भी हुआ है, महीने में 2-3 दफा हमने उसको लिटरली अपने लोकल एरिया में ढूंढा है, where is Daniel? And he disappeared. And 2-3 घंटे बाद आता है तो बताता है कहाँ था, बैठा था, क्या किया, everything. But then why did he went away? He shares that as well. So the thing is that पहले तो my sister is very fearful कि खुदा ना खास्ता उतने टाइम में अगर उसे कुछ हो जाए या कोई कुछ कर ले तो हम कुछ कर भी नहीं पाएंगे. दूसरा सर उसके साथ consequence setting भी किया है. For example, अगर तुम्हें कोई चीज नहीं पसंद है या if things are not working, हम कैसे कर सकते हैं उसको, या if you do this next time as a mother what should I do with you? That is also being done. क्योंकि टॉपिक फियर वाला है. I just felt of Daniel, think of Daniel, कि वो बंदे में मुझे बिल्कुल भी फियर नहीं दिखता 6 साल का बच्चा होने के बावजूद. I understand फियर होना भी नहीं चाहिए, बट बहुत एक्सट्रीम लेवल पे है वो 5.5-6 साल होने के बावजूद. So yeah, I'm just looking from you कि ऐसे बच्चों को हैंडल करने के लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं अपार्ट फ्रॉम समझाना या उनके साथ टाइम स्पेंड करना या उन्हें गार्डन ले जाना, या I'm looking for something जो उसके साथ काम करे.
This is a longer conversation.
Okay.
Oh, but he's learning it from somewhere.
Yeah, मतलब he is very foodie. He loves dance. He loves.
नहीं फरीन, ये सब जो कर रहा है ना वो कहीं देख रहा है, सीख रहा है.
जी.
That's what you got to find out.
Okay. So apart from home environment, the other time you are saying, no, I need to have eye on.
How do people handle anger at home? You don't have to answer the question, but I'm just raising it.
How do people, what did you say?
Handle
at home.
Their anger at home.
Sometimes.
Like I said, Fareed, this is a longer conversation.
Ji.
Bye. Okay, you're right.
Okay.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for hanging in there. I hope you got something.
So, Vishwas, are we going to have this session offline also?
Sorry.
Are we going to have these sessions offline also sometime?
No.
And sessions where we can bring in our children, because probably when you say the same thing, they hear it better.
अरे वहां तो सुन रही है वो.
Hi.
Hi.
Rishika wanted to say something like, you want to
Yes.
tell which is your favorite character?
Sochu.
Why?
Because he thinks.
Because he thinks.
Ah, nice. And what do you think? Which thought of Sochu's do you like?
Tell. Think.
If you don't remember, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Just read the book again and again and again and again.
So what we do, you know, when Sochu is thinking, he goes deep, he takes a deep breath and, you know, goes in.
He was in that deep breath.
Yeah, so, you know, we both like, I was like, whenever we'll get angry, you know, Rishika, we'll go deep breath and, you know, and so whenever I get angry and scream at her, she will do.
Right, right. Just remind Mama all the time. Yep, you're right. She's doing it. I mean, the book is a success. One person gets it, brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vishwa. Thank you, Chetan.
Right. So we will be the last to leave. So see you somewhere soon.
Thank you guys. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Vishwas, do you have any program for adolescents in China?
You get them together, I will run it.
Really?
I said you get them together and I will run it.
Okay, I hear that. Okay, I'll ponder on that. How many would you need?
15.
Okay. Oh, that's a big number, but yeah, let me see. Okay.
That's why I stopped doing it.
Oh no. But it's
Yeah, I
going to be
know.
so good. Okay. Anyway, Happy New Year, Vishwas, and I'll think on that. Thank you. Bye. Great, as always. So much learning when people ask questions, and so much of it I wanted to ask, and there's so many questions that were asked, which is so like bang on to what I was thinking, or rather think about. Thank you. Bye, Chetan.
Bye.
Hi, Vishwas. Devendra here. So, throughout the conversation, I have seen you starting with, a lot of discussions, like, the Socrates, and then questions pointed towards, not as in pointed, like they are trying to get people into a space where they can get in their own awareness and answer those questions for themselves. And similar thing is the pace of most of the activities and things that you have done. So my thing is that how do I develop this kind of where I can be so aware and I can be in a space where I can ask these questions to my kids.
How do you learn to do that? Is that your question?
I wouldn't say learn, but how do I get to a point? Like, I'm not sure how to put it because it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, just one is to come to a place where you can see that no matter what you do, nothing is going to really change, no matter how much you desire it. Therefore, you're a nobody. And the moment you begin to sense that you have really no control over any outcome, then from a metaphoric place, I'm saying you can kick the ball wherever you want, and you can kick, the whole world is a playing field. So just go out there and do it. Don't think too much about it.
Thank you.
But there are concepts that help, and yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yenama Ashwini, long time no see.
Sunday Sunday chill andre fear. Nice, very nice.
Monday, I have nothing to do. Where are you hold up? Bangalore?
Ah,
Okay. Cold, no?
oh, it's so cold. I have to literally get up during the meeting to put on a jacket. How are you?
Rocket!
I can see that. Pune?
Yep.
Today is festival. Today is actually Sankrant. Oh, there's Sankrant.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Happy
I'm
Sankrant, whoever
from
is there.
Bangalore too.
Interesting. In Marathi,
festival
they're
for me.
saying, so they usually give that tilwala sweet, no? And when they give it, they say Tirgul kya god bola, means speak sweetly. What a wonderful day to have this session. Speak sweetly to your children.
Speak sweetly.
Okay, children.
So saying Vishwas, what you did, I am feeling is like to conclude for myself. It is how we are daily in front of our children. That is what matters the most. How comfortable we are inside us.
Like from Karela, we've got to become sweet.
Yes. So once that's settled, how the more settled I am, the more better parent I am. So
Yeah.
Start now.
Yeah.
thank you. The Sochu's books are they are not just for the kids; they are for the parents too.
So sweet.
Every night my son will sleep. Like I'll read it and he'll hear it and sleep. Every day one book. Actually, we are waiting for the next thing now.
Nice.
So sweet.
Okay, bye. Have a great day.
What are you doing after this?
Coffee Beko first.
Okay.
Next.
Baki yalla aamele.
Super. Okay, bye. Thanks, Chetan. Bye. Basically, nobody wants to let you go, Vishwas. When you say bye, there'll be a question.
There's a way to throw them out, no? Yeah, I know we're going to change it. Even my watch is telling me, get up and move. Go take a leg.
Ashwini, where are you from? This time in Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Um,
You?
Bangalore, where? I am from Bangalore.
Putenali.
Okay.
JP Nagar. JP Nagar.
Okay.
Yeah, you?
Raj Rajeshwar Nagar.
Oh.
Not very far, maybe half an hour.
We should
I
meet.
am on Kanakpura Road, Bangalore.
Ashwini is doing some interesting stuff.
Okay.
Ashwini, I am on Kanakpura Road, Raghuvanahali.
Okay. I'll text
Oh,
you.
my farm is there in Raghuvanahali.
Oh.
Yes.
Go have a nice outdoor session at your farm.
It's
Okay,
a granite.
bye.
But no.
I have to leave.
Okay, bye. Lovely meeting all of you. See you.